Hey, good morning, afternoon, everybody. My name is Ajay, and this is
Henry.
and we're here with another exciting episode of the Google Business Buzz. So today is very special because we're going to talk about something near and dear to my heart. Today we're talking about local services ads, LSAs for short. Now, I have a unique perspective on this because I work very closely with these. I manage, over 500 of them for OMG. So I've gotten to see this platform change and evolve, and something very cool has happened recently. Local services ads has launched for automotive industries. Now, whenever LSAs launch for a new industry, it creates a ton of opportunity. So today is the time that we're going to really dive into what these are and what they mean. So Henry, you work extensively with Google Business Profile, man. So like you've gotten to see this thing explode on the SERP from the start. So like
Yeah.
how did that look? How did it look when you started seeing
So
them?
I have a different perspective because I have seen how LSA has taken over the top spots on a Google search. Used to be Google Ads. Well, before even Google Ads, if there's nobody running Google Ads in a certain area, you'll see local pack, right? You'll see the map pack, the top three. But now LSA has taken over, and it's kind of a love-hate relationship for me because I do see the importance of it. I do understand how businesses and users, right, consumers get benefits from it. But I'm so close to the map, to Google Business Profile, that it's a love-hate thing. But so to get into your question, I've seen LSA evolve from when it was called Google Home Services back in 2015, and now to encompassing automotive in 2023. They actually tried this very early on when they expanded their home services into local services, and it was a test item. We saw a few clients come through our marketing agency with this product enabled. And then, curiously enough, Google took it away from towing from automotive. Now it's back. It's back in a big way. We know a lot about it. Ajay, you've been studying it very closely, and our clients specifically, and don't want to talk too much about, OMG National or OMG Tow Marketing, but we are pretty well versed in the towing and automotive space, right? So we have many clients and we know what we're doing for towing and automotive clients. Now, seeing this brand new layer appear on search, it's exciting for us, and something that we are very, very much looking forward to educating not only our clients, but everyone that's listening to this podcast. So, Jay, what is LSA for everyone to understand what LSA is? Just give us the brief, summary of that.
All right, folks. So when you run a local transactional search, right? Imagine being a customer. You're pulling out your phone and you're going plumber near me. For before 2015, if you did that search, you would have seen the traditional layers you're used to on Google. You would have seen Google ads at the top, the AD, the sponsored ads, the pay-per-click ads, and then below that, you would have seen the map pack, right? Henry's Google Business Profile results. You would have seen the top three there. So you're seeing paid results, pay-per-click, Google ads, and you're seeing local organic results in the map pack. And beneath that, you're seeing SEO. Now, what LSAs are another layer of paid advertising. So this is most closely linked by definition or by category to Google Ads. Google Ads is pay per click, LSA is pay per call. So what you're actually seeing today, if you run that same search, plumber near me, you're going to see these new trusted ads at the top, and they're going to present differently than anything else you've ever seen. They're going to have a green shiny badge of trust, and they're going to have a phone number on it. And when you said love hate relationship, Henry, I think that's about the sentiment that I get from everyone who's seen these that doesn't work with them exclusively. Because, like, if you're Google Ads, as awesome as that platform is, you got to deal with the reality that, hey, there's something else towards the top of the page now. If you're Google Maps, you got to deal with that reality. Hey, there's something else. So if you're doing a thorough job at watching out for small to medium sized businesses, and you see a brand new advertising layer come in and snatch up the very top spot, man, that's huge, right? And we got to figure out how to leverage that layer, how to capitalize that layer. And if you're a small to medium sized business, you got to open up your ears, because now you've got a new tool in the toolbox. So that's what this really is. It's a new tool in the toolbox. It's a new way to get calls, right? You're not getting clicks, you're not getting hugs and kisses, you're not getting likes. It is skipping straight to paid lead acquisition. It is paid lead gen, guys. And that is what makes it special. It's no BS, no fluff. It's the first thing you see. And it comes with a host of other perks too. So that is kind of the story of LSA. It is a brand new advertising platform, relatively speaking, right? Because at this point, it's like 8 years old. But if you consider Google Ads as 20 plus years old, it's still relatively new. So maybe brand new is a misnomer, but still relatively new. Newer than the maps, newer than Google Ads, and it's at the very, very top. So the question that should be on everyone's mind right now is, okay, how do I get to be at the very, very top? And why do I want to be there? Why do I want this badge of trust? What's so special? So, Henry, what do you
Now,
think, man? Hmm.
so what I was thinking when you're on your rant there, and it was a great rant, by the way, the similarities that LSA has to something like Angie's or House, right? Where they also advertise pay per lead, right? Now, this seems to me like a direct move against those competitors for Google search, right? Now we know that Angie's, House, Nextdoor, all of these um, are also directories where users can find all kinds of services, and they have great SEO. And so they come up on that first page of Google. Now, why was Google, allowing people or users to bounce from their search engine to that kind of service, right? And not, doing something about it. So what do you think about that? Is that am I stretching? Am I like grasping for straws there, or do you see some similarities?
No, I think that's actually so, like, in terms of what we're used to, Google to Google, right? Kind of oranges to oranges. LSA is most comparable to Google Ads because it's another paid lead acquisition platform, and it's with from Google by Google. But it's competitors when they started, when they were doing the market analysis for, hey, how are we going to release this? You're right. They were really, Angie's List, Home Advisor, Thumbtack. Google is really competing with these platforms that we're trying to connect potential customers to more trusted, more reputable providers. And you're 100% right. If I'm Google and if I own my SERP, why am I going to let folks connect to, what you could make the argument for are inferior answers, worse results, when I, being Google, can create my own ad layer at the top, think about a way to get these guys supercharged with trust. How do I make sure that I can signal to the world that my advertisers, me being Google, are the best of the best? And the badge of trust was the answer, right? We're going to go through license checks. We're going to go through insurance checks. We're going to give them less spam than these other competing platforms. Oh, by the way, we're not going to send one provider 10 leads or 10 providers one lead, and we're not going to let them fight over it for a bidding war. We're going to create it to where if you're ranking very high, people can call you, they can pull you up, and that's a unique engagement with that customer. Basically, you have a shot to earn your business. You're not getting in the same lead pool as that of 10 other people, right? So I think they created a better answer to your question.
That's super interesting, right? And you said something very important, trust, that trust layer. They're getting behind that word much more on an advertising side. Now, they've used trustworthiness on search for years. For this is part of their algorithm, right? They've published information about EAT, right? Expertise,
Authority,
authoritative, and
trust.
trustworthiness.
Mhm.
Now it's actually two E's because they've added experience, right? So experience, expertise, authoritativeness, and trust. Trustworthiness. Now that's that word comes back, trustworthiness. Now, Google Ads, I'm seeing now more and more that they're asking for verification documents on Google Ads. I'm also seeing that more and more being asked on Google Maps, right? So it seems like it's something that they're turning the dial up on. but this is much more comprehensive and much more authoritative because of all of that background work that they do, right? So tell me a little bit about that. What kind of trustworthiness are we looking at with LSA?
Yeah, 1,000%. So, you hit the nail on the head, man. Google Ads is awesome, GBP is awesome, but Google, since they own so much market share, they have a responsibility and they have a scrutinizing eye from the public, right, to give best answers, safe answers. And with Google Ads, the major problem for most of its 20-year existence was that identity checks weren't a thing. These are relatively new identity verifications. So, for much of history, if you had a credit card, you could go on, or means of payment, you could go on Google Ads and start your campaign. Now, why is that a problem? Because if I find a carpet cleaner from Google Ads, I don't know if the business that is coming to my home is actually reputable. If I'm hiring a convicted a criminal, someone who's a safety threat to my family. And same with GBP. As much as awesome as Google Business Profile is, that that site has also had challenges with spam and inauthentic listings that are dubious. So Google really had a billion-dollar question to solve for. And that question was, how do I really get trust into the equation and make it solid? And that came in the form of these background checks, these license checks, these insurance checks. So for this trust layer that we're talking, right? LSAs at the top, calls, messages, bookings. Google's biggest challenge was, how do I make this the best of the best? And they did that by introducing all kinds of new checks up to the level that we've never seen before. Google isn't the one background checking you. They actually hand that over to a trusted partner, but they do check your license and your insurance. So every angle of you being a business owner, the reputation of your business, your reputation and your record as the owner and the entity, the license, the insurance, everything is verified and must be legitimate in order to get access here. So what we're talking about is a layer for the best of the best, right? You want to talk trust? This is trust on steroids. This is the most trusted thing to ever come onto the SERP. So we call it the trust layer because it's really a transactional layer, right? It's calls, messages, bookings, and it's at the very top, and you get a green badge of trust. Now, back to your question, what that really means is trust comes in the form of those checks, license, insurance, background checks. It also comes in the form of consumer assurances. For Google Guaranteed, how this started, what it means is that for the first core 5 verticals, these are like plumbing, electrician, the first categories that were launched on local services ads, these are called Google Guaranteed. Typically refers to contractors in the trade. So when you think of roofer, you think Google Guaranteed. When you think of plumber, you think Google Guaranteed. If I'm a consumer, and if I call a Google Guaranteed advertiser, there is a $2,000 money back guarantee by Google built into the equation for any work that is not done to a sufficient standard. So if I hire a roofer and they screw up and they, break my roof and then crash into my floor and cause damage, I can take pictures of that, document it, and then file a Google Guaranteed claim. So this is new as well. Nothing has offered that level of assurance before. And we're seeing now other platforms start to copy this level of assurance. There are copycats coming up. Bing has launched, some time ago, a local services ads clone or their version of it. I'm not too sure where that is right now, but I know it's there. I know we found the other day, I think it's Yelp. Yelp is offering some sort of trusted money back guarantee competitor. So this model worked. It worked because they took the prime real estate of the SERP. They got the best quality, most intentional traffic to flow to these ads. They created a brand new platform. They got everyone excited, and they really stole the show. So LSA is a mega success story. But more importantly than the success of LSA is the corresponding success it's been able to generate for small, medium-sized businesses. Because we've been talking about it as the best of the best, right? This elitist layer of inventory, the Olympics of paid advertising. And it is. But what if, man, you're really smart and clever with how you approach this? And let's say that towing just came out, right? As it did recently for local services ads. What if you're paying attention? You've got your eyes to how the SERP is changing. And then you go hit up a few towers where it's launched and you're like, hey, this is launched in your area. Get signed up. What happens then? Well, you've just given them early movers advantage. You have just taken someone and put them into the LSA inventory before anyone else knows it there. What does that mean? That means that you get your pick at all of the traffic in the area before your competitors are in there, right? Opportunities like this rarely come along. I mean, you want to talk the dream in marketing? What does everyone who's ever been alive want from marketing? They want to be at the top of Google, ideally, because that's where the traffic is, and they want phone calls. If you're a small to medium sized entity, that's probably what you want, or some variation of that, depending on your industry. And this is the dream. It's giving it to you, right? This is one of the most accessible ways to get to the top. It's literally the dream and get these valid phone calls. So yeah, man, a lot of people don't know about this. Even though it's 8 years old, you'd be surprised. I'll give you an example for funeral services. That's a newer vertical for local services ads on the Google Screen side. What is Google Screen? Just like Google Guaranteed, it's a different arm of the LSA umbrella, but it's for professional services. So think more suit and tie, different industries than Google Guaranteed. For funeral services, these guys don't even know it's there. So we have a client, or we have a handful of clients who are, funeral homes, and we told them about this, and they're still number one in their market. They're just sitting there at the top of Google with impunity, getting phone calls, just sitting there. I mean, imagine that, man. Imagine if you could do that with GBP, right?
Hey, in some cases we can. In some
It's
cases
true.
we can. When there isn't a client actually paying for these ads, we can get them there, because some clients, some businesses, they choose to stop their ads at some point, and that's when local pack, the big three on Google Maps come up to the top. But yeah, it's getting to be rarer and rarer. Um, so you talked about these different like categories, the funeral home being screened, right? A
Hmm.
layer of screened. Does Google also offer that backing, the money back guarantee for these verticals?
No, that's a really good nuance. I'm glad you touched on it. So the difference between Google Guaranteed and Screened, everyone, is that, it's not just a different brand of industries covered. The difference is really in this money back guarantee Henry's talking about. Google Guarantee, that $2,000 consumer protection for work not, performed to a sufficient standard, that only affects Google Guaranteed. So it only affects the trades, contractors, those under the Google Guaranteed moniker. Why? Because probably if you've performed a physical service, like you're a water damage provider, that is quantifiable, it's tangible. If you hire a realtor who's Google screened, right, you get if someone's giving you bad service, but can you really put a dollar value to that? It's hard, right? It's hard with these more intellectual abstract services. If someone's a lawyer, you can probably tell if they're a bad lawyer, but how can you quantify that? You can't take pictures of a bad lawyer being a bad lawyer as easily as you could a bad carpenter messing up your fence, right? So that's maybe part of the reason, but I'm just speculating at this point. But the point is, to your question, no, that $2,000 money back guarantee is only for Google Guaranteed. It's not for Google Screened, and it's not for license verified by Google either, which we'll talk about.
That's interesting. That's interesting. License verified, huh? Okay, so now we're talking about a third category under the local service ads umbrella. Now that you mentioned it, you got to tell us about it.
Of course, man. The LSA umbrella, guys, local services ads, LSA, this new platform, three different arms, three different umbrellas. There's the Google Guaranteed, how it all started. Which is home services, contractors, the trades. There's Google Screened, which is mostly professional services. So you're thinking suit and tie, realtor, financial planner, lawyers, but they have recently expanded that as well to include aspects of pet care and people care. So there's an exception to this professional services rule. Not that those aren't professionals, just you wouldn't think of them as, in the same bucket as a financial planner necessarily. So, and then the third arm to your question is license verified by Google. Now, this may be the longest name, perhaps the one that rolls off the tongue the least easiest, but this is also very spicy. License verified by Google means medical. And this is also huge because just like when you've got towing and automotive entering now for Google Screen, this came out very recently, not as recently as tow and automotive, but relatively recently, and it applies to dentists, orthodontists, primary care physicians. So you're thinking any of these traditional doctor categories, you now have a chance to get on there and be the first in your market and start getting that paid lead acquisition. So brand new opportunity, man. Very exciting. And again, a lot of people don't know what it is. So that's why we're here yapping
Mm-hmm.
about it because
Yeah.
um,
Yeah, like right now, what would you recommend the viewing audience search on their phones to see this local service ads? What industry is most common throughout the United States and even Canada? Is it available in Canada,
It
by
is
the way?
available in Canada. It's
Hey,
just
good, good.
available to a lesser extent. So you don't get as many verticals or industries that it's open to there. But yeah, it is. And to the audience, I would say go on your phone, go to Google and type in plumber near me. And if you live in a really rural area, maybe there aren't as many people in there. If it doesn't show up, you can try in plumber near Dallas, Texas, plumber near Miami, Florida. Try any of these major metros and plumber, electrician, any of those core five original verticals it started with, those are usually the most filled up, saturated, because it's been out the longest. So people already know about this, right? So you can certainly see it that way. And then if you click see more plumbers, if you play with it, you can actually change the geo of the market you're looking at. So to our audience, I would say get in there, plumber near me. And then right underneath those results, it'll say click to see 20 plus more plumbers near you or whatever. Click under that, and then you will actually get to see what we call the back, the inventory. And that's when you can get nifty with it, and you can go check out your local market. You can check out adjacent cities, and you can see how many competitors are actually in there for any geo-vertical configuration, for any location industry. So that is, a really cool.
That's some secret sauce, Jay. Everybody here, I hope you took notes. This is secret sauce, and it's something that will definitely benefit a lot of small business owners and even marketers at this point. So audience, everyone, we have a very special guest coming on. We want to invite the head of OMG Tow Marketing, Jared Fischgrund. He is basically the voice of OMG Tow and knows the towing and automotive industry and marketing the towing and automotive industry like no one else. So it's going to be a very exciting chat.
Definitely.
But yeah, let's get Jared in here and continue the pod. And we're back with the man, the myth, the legend himself, Jared Fischgrund. He runs or manages OMG Tow Marketing, and he's here to give us his perspective on LSA for towing. The man also is the super admin of the Facebook group Tow Talk, so make sure to look that up and join. It's a great group that Jared is the man that behind. So Jared, uh, tell us a little bit about yourself.
I've been at OMG for 9 years, helped build the tow division. Very proud of it. Love the industry, love the people. OMG's been very supportive of all the things we've built here, continuously growing, which is amazing. Mentioning the LSA product, very excited. The thing about working with towers for the last 9 years, pretty much exclusively. I know way too much about towing. I shouldn't. But anyway, you only have a couple of products to sell these tow guys, mapping program calls, which are free, or Google AdWords. So when you hear about another opportunity, another product coming in offered by Google, to amplify where they can be found in a better place, a more lucrative place, if you want to call it that, and maybe a little bit more limited, not everyone can do it, that it's very exciting to be able to learn about it and be able to present it to, tow clients and future tow clients.
Awesome, awesome. So Jay, let's get into the nitty-gritty here. Where is LSA available for towers right now, and what are the job types per se?
Yeah, so five new automotive categories, tow among them. And right now, LSA is only available in two states, ladies and gentlemen, Florida and California. Now, this may change, right? We know how Google likes to do things. We've been through this rodeo for a while now. They like to start slow and ramp up. And so just because they're available in two states today doesn't mean they won't expand nationwide. But until then, we're getting that data in. We've already got clients on board too who are excited and ready to try this out. And we don't know what the future holds. So yeah, Florida and California today, but that may grow tomorrow.
Excellent, excellent. And what are the okay, so you said five categories, right? So what would trigger this to appear above Google Ads and even Google Maps?
Yeah, that's a good one. So we honestly, since we don't have any ads that are live right now, right? We can't actually run our own testing like we normally do. But generally speaking, you can trigger an LSA ad by typing in the vertical or the industry. So if I were to do tower near me, tow truck near me, variations of that should reliably trigger. Another way you can get LSA ads to trigger historically is by the job type or the service. So unlike Google ads, like Jared mentioned, you don't have keywords, a little bit more limited, but you do have these streamlined service types or job types. And for towing, they are truck roadside assistance, accident recovery, storage for wrecked vehicles, private property towing, and towing services. So it's a pretty safe bet, although we can't say 100%, that majority of these usually do trigger the ad. So if I were to type in private property towing near me, or if I were to type in towing services near me, roadside assistance near me, these are typically reliable indicators that you'll now all of a sudden see these new ads with the green badge up top, the very top of the page.
Okay, that's powerful. So, Jared, what do you think about the tow service popping up this LSA? And right now, we know that there is a price per lead, right, for local services ad for the towing vertical and for every other vertical that you just mentioned, Jay. But what do you think about towing service versus truck roadside assistance versus private property towing, which Jay mentioned?
So I think towing service would probably be the most popular term that the everyday person who's looking for a tow company would use. Towing by me, tow company, tow truck. I need roadside assistance. I use those phrases all the time. Uh, so yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I look at it like this. People have choice. People could be on the side of a highway. They're not going to probably make multiple calls. So maybe they call the first thing that they say, right? They need to get off the road. People may be sitting in their driveway and maybe they do have time. Look, anytime you're at the very top, that presents the opportunity, right? Uh, the Google LSA, I guess another phrase that's been thrown around there is Google guarantee, which is, I don't know if it's the same thing, but I know it's that green box up top. And, you know, the beauty about this product is not everyone will be able to do it. And there's certain criteria that allows you to be approved. And sure, you'll pay a premium for that, but you know, it's so competitive. The landscape is so competitive in the maps these days and even the ads. So any advantage you can get. I mean, think about it this way. Companies that understand the investment in marketing could literally have a spot in all three places. The odds say that you're going to get a call. You may not, that maybe the first call doesn't get you hired, but maybe the second one down because they find you in the map, right? So again, it's all about opportunity. Look, what kind of fleet you have and the amount of trucks you have and, how you price yourself and your expenses all matter, but everyone wants the job. So as long as you can, get the right payment for your services, which again, that's running your business, this can work out very well for you.
Powerful stuff, man. Powerful stuff. Jay, what did you take there?
I'm right there with you gentlemen. So this brings a bunch of unique value adds besides being at the top, but all besides just being new, right? It's also exclusive, like Jared said. So when folks are hiring you, they have that sense of comfort that, hey, I'm hiring the best of the best, and that demands a premium, right? It demands a premium for safety and trust and expertise. Now, in line with that, you've also got special perks. You've got the ability to message people, right? So if a consumer wants to, and maybe this is not more so for towing, think a tire shop, another automotive category. If I want to send a little message, hey, you got those Goodyear, whatever tires, you can send that. And for the advertiser, that's going to be cheaper. Message leads are half the price of a phone call, so you can save some money there. And then you've got a neat little mobile app to get those leads pop up right to your phone where you can answer them. So you've got the phone call channel that's going to be primary. You've got the message channel. You may even see a booking integration in the future. LSA as a platform has a booking integration. We don't know who the partners are going to be for towing and automotive just yet, but I know that Towbook is out there. I know that there are many other software solutions out there. We may see those integrated. So it's all about that opportunity. And Jared, you've been doing this longer than anyone, man. In the last, I don't know, decade, we haven't seen much change. Correct me if I'm wrong there. And so
100% right.
yeah, so if nothing changes and we know this landscape is evolving, we don't know what it's going to look like in the next 10 years, right? And so we want to
Yeah.
be prepared. So look, try it out. And who could this benefit? Really, we can streamline it down into two buckets, right? Either you could be the really small guy. You've got a truck or two. Maybe you're in Dallas, Texas, super busy marketplace, like Jared said, and you need a big budget to run game on Google Ads, and you can't afford that, right? So you're not visible. Boom, enter LSA. You get Google screened. You get to the top of the page. All of a sudden, you've got your one phone call a day. You've got your two phone calls a day. Maybe that's enough to keep you happy. Conversely, on the other end of the spectrum, you've got your really big players, and I know we have many of those who understand the value, who are already in Google Ads, who are already in doing the maps, who are already taking advantage of, getting their name out there every way possible. And then all of a sudden, here's a place that, well, if you're not here, who's going to be here? Your competitors. So it's that opportunity cost and that risk and that threat of not being somewhere where your competitors could. So there's a whole bunch of variables influencing what makes this so special and so attractive. But I don't think Tow is as awesome as it is, Tow is not the only star of the show here. We've also got Tire Shop, Jared. Now, I know that you were saying that those were $13 calls, right, when we started. Talk to me about the margins, man. I know you've talked to Tire Shop guys before. $13 a lead, and you've got rotations, balancing, repair, alignment, replacement. What sort of margins are we looking at for the average tire shop?
Yeah, so I appreciate you asking me that. So again, speaking with towers a lot, like I know, you have to value the, how many calls is going to take to convert a job, right? So there's no exact answer to that. We don't know. Like I could call someone up, don't like their price, their ETA, and I can end up calling them back again because I called four other people and they weren't any better. But would you rather get that call than not get the call? Now, the factors of, what something costs, whether it costs $24, $13 or $5, a lot of it depends on how you run your business. How do you have the trucks available to do the jobs? Is your ETA good? Is your cost fair? Are you looking just to break the bank, or, you'll go out for any amount of money that there is? What excites me about, like you're talking about tires. If I own a tire shop, good tires are expensive, right? The labor on it, it's not just the tire you're paying for, which I'm sure there's a nice markup to that, right? But then there's the labor you have to pay for. And you know what? If I'm not getting that call because I don't want to pay $13, that means my competitor down the street's getting that call.
100%.
And then I don't have nothing. Now, again, I say the same thing with the tower. If the call is $24 and who knows, I've watched the LSA concept grow over the years here. It's expanded into more markets and more cities for more services. I'm excited on the towing end. Again, or the whole automotive end, if you want to think of it that way. Like we're starting with light duty towing, right, with some of those services, but it feels like we're in a positive direction where it's going to go beyond Florida and California, and we're probably going to expand to other services. And obviously if you walk into the heavier side or, the moving heavy equipment, or mobile repair, which again could include tires as well. It seems like it's a no-brainer, to have those top spots. People don't have all that much time in the world to call and call and call. So, take advantage of what's out there. It could be pretty lucrative, and not everyone is going to get this, where Google Ads, everyone can basically do as long as they're paying.
That's so true. You guys said some very important things. Early movers advantage, right? You want to be the early adopter. You want to take control of that opportunity before the competition does, right? And another thing, it's very selective. Google scrutinizes these businesses much more because of, the fact that they're putting them up on that top spot with the badge.
So basically they want to promote the better companies.
100%.
Okay.
It's
Which
all
is good to
about
know.
user experience, right? They want their end user to be happy with the service that they get from the search engine so that people continue to use it. And yeah, like we've seen, Jared, right? Since 2015, it started out as Google Home Services and it just expanded
Right.
to everything it is now. Google, Jay was telling me about medical services, right? So this is insanely exciting because of the growth potential. And when you are adopting these things early, you learn about them and you learn how they evolved. And especially with, like, not to toot our own horn, but toot toot, OMG has the best in class marketing services and advertising services. Ajay is the foremost what is it, subject matter expert for LSA in the country. So
The
we're
goat.
getting, information like right at the level that it continues to evolve. We're educating our clients, and we're educating everybody that's hearing this podcast.
Let
So
me ask you a question, both of you guys. So if a company was interested in this LSA who's based out of California or Florida for towing at this point, right? But they really want to keep their budget minimal because again, it's a little bit new. I mean, to towing, not to the reality of what the program it already does exist. So we understand it works. But them getting approved, they could keep a very minimal budget to have that spot. So when things start to ramp up, they'll already be there. They just have to then add the particular services that are now allowed and then obviously increase their budget. Is that accurate?
That's incredibly accurate. So I wanna zoom in on that because it's so important, right? One thing that you get with LSA is a high degree of control. Let's call it that, because yes, you need a minimum in order to play ball. You need to be willing to accept a minimum of 3 calls a week. So if you look at a towing call at around $20, you're talking roughly 60, $70 a week, depending on what the bidding is.
That's
Um,
nothing. I mean,
it's
to be
nothing.
ahead of the game potentially for the future. Yeah.
Exactly. And guess what, guys? If you to everyone out there listening, if you don't want to commit a higher amount, that's fine. You can keep that budget low, but if you like the calls, we can always turn that budget up or down as you see fit. In addition to that, we can also pause these ads whenever you want. You're slammed for the day, your guys are out, you're done. Go on your mobile app, pause that. If you're running with us, hopefully you call us, we'll take care of it for you, no worries. So not only can you control your budget, not only can you turn that up or down as you see fit, as long as you're playing ball with the minimum, you can also pause these things quite intuitively and easily on a mobile app, which is what makes it really cool. Some people may enjoy that degree of flexibility because if you're on Google Ads, as you gentlemen well know, if there's action there, you're going to spend that budget, and that's a heavy commitment sometimes. So again, this opens up really interesting use cases for the smaller guy and potentially even the extremely large guy who's well established, understands the value. It's got a little something for everyone. And if you want to talk about money, you can also talk about lead disputes, right? And Google Ads, as awesome as ads is, we've never had an avenue to protect click fraud, bad clicks, anything of the like over there. And while you do enjoy the increased the customizability with the keywords, the negative keywords, if you get a bad click, you're eating it. On local services ads, you get to get back spend for those invalid leads that are out of location or out of service. That's powerful. That's a degree of protection not offered anywhere else right now. So there are plenty of fun new tools in the toolbox that come with an opportunity like this. So I think those need to be part of the conversation as well, and something hopefully our tow guys and gals out there may appreciate and enjoy with this new ad layer.
Hey, something just that you brought up in terms of pausing, because we get asked that a lot when people run their own Google ad account. Like they'll get a call, and as soon as they get the call, they just shut off their ads like continuously throughout the day. And I've always been told that that kind of messes with the algorithm a little bit or the learning of an ads program. So that does not happen with this. You have total flexibility. Like if you receive a call, you can actually pause them and then return them on at any point, and it's not going to affect the placement or any of that.
True. So on local services ads, you've got two bid modes, manual bidding or automatic bidding. If you're in automatic bidding, you want to avoid probably pausing it, at least for that learning phase. We've got a 2 weeks phase.
Sure.
It's smaller, but generally speaking, when a client's out of that, and we probably wouldn't be using automatic bidding, it's more aggressive anyways. While these markets are slim, we can save our clients more money by bidding manually. Um, if you pause your ad, there's really going to be a negligible effect on local services ads. Now, with the caveat, you don't want to be pausing every day, every 5 minutes. But if you're reasonable, something comes up, your crew's out of commission for a little bit, your trucks are down, whatever have you, you can certainly pause that and be fine and turn it on the next day. So yeah, that's a level of customization, man, and flexibility that is certainly new, easier for the average person to just go on there and use an app, click a slider, and then boom, done. Your ads are down and they come up at your will. So I'm very excited with that flexible aspect of it.
that's really, really impressive stuff because we've dealt with it before. So all of this information is extremely valuable for towers, for auto repair. What about when we talk about collision repair and auto body? Is that available?
Auto body is one of the five. So you've got, remember, vertical or category to job type or services structure. So under that auto body category, you're going to have five job types: dents and scratches repairs, window repair and replacement, frame repair, bumper repair, door repair. These prices for the leads, they start at about $22 in both California and Florida markets. So, plenty of margins to be had there, especially depending on what area you're in and the type of premium you can command. But the cool part about being early, man, is that you don't have as many competitors. So unlike other places, you're really getting to bid in low, right? You're not going to have 10, 15 competitors. There's no need for you to empty out your wallet right away. So when we say early movers advantage, make no mistake, we're talking about paying less per lead. We're talking about getting more of the lion's share of the traffic. We're also talking from the product side about feeding LSA with the inputs it needs to thrive to make that snowball bigger. Because guess what? If you're in there early and you're answering phone calls, your response rate's going up. You're signaling to Google that you're reliable. You're getting reviews from that. That's favorably impacting your ranking. You're marking your calls as booked and teaching Google what types of calls you can convert. That early user data is invaluable. It's invaluable for you to leave your mark and get up there and establish yourself. It's invaluable for you to feed that algorithm. And it's invaluable to just get a leg up on your competitors as well. So Autobody is one of them. And that is also available in California and Florida.
Yeah, I think collision is a grand slam because when you have damage on your car, it's going to be upper 100s to several $1,000s, right? And there's a lot of competition out there. And like I'll tell you, like an instance, a couple years ago, my daughter had a car accident. Insurance company gave me several local auto body repair shops or collision shops, right? I got to choose who I wanted to go to, and I went on Google and I looked at all of them. Everyone's always afraid of the collision guy, right? Are they taking advantage of me? Because none of us know exactly how they price these things, like what these parts cost or what the damage or the time frame. So if someone is guaranteed, has this badge that Google says that they are quality company, it definitely makes you feel a little bit better. 100%. Whoever you choose. So I think for those guys that these aren't $100 jobs, these are $1,000 jobs. So I think that's strong positive for auto collision companies.
Absolutely, that's amazing. $22 for I just got a scratch repaired. It cost me over $1,000. Well, my insurance, but still, that's a no-brainer. It's really a great. And I can also see car wash and detailing. That's a huge advantage here. Like when I have used Google to find a detailer to come to my house and wash my car, but I definitely would have liked to have known if he was, if he had general liability insurance or if he was background checked, all of that. That's super important. When we think about how a user is going to react to these ads, I mean, you have to be, as a business owner, you have to consider this or else you are going to be missing out. Users are going to flock to these ads. So it's pretty impressive. $5 really for car wash and detailing? Jay, what?
I was gonna bring that up, man, but you stole my thunder. Yeah, $5 leads all day long for exterior washing, waxing and ceramic coating, interior detailing, engine detailing, tire cleaning. That's a steal. That's a steal. Even if the bidding is insane on these calls, it goes from $5 to $15 a lead. Oh well, right? You're still walking out with the margin. So yeah, plenty of opportunity to be had here, particularly for this one. The lowest priced lead is actually in the car wash and detailing space. So, and I want to take it back to what you gentlemen were saying before. Jared, that was a great point. You mentioned that with auto body shop, there's some, maybe some hesitancy. Oh, am I getting gypped? I have this need and I don't want anyone to take advantage of me. Well, the badge is obviously going to tell people that you're the best of the best, that you're trustworthy. Imagine that for auto repair shop, same principle, right? Your transmission goes out. You need a repair, or heaven forbid, you need to get it rebuilt. We all know that can be an expensive proposition. Engine repairs, you want to make sure you're not getting gypped, right? And while you can't stop human nature, we can kind of give consumers and customers a better answer. There is a better answer out there, and these are folks, to Henry's point of being trustworthy and reliable. Not only are they safe, safety and trust is essential to the user experience. But you also have that chance that they're going to be hopefully a little bit better to work with than people that have not gone through that, than people that didn't earn the right to be here. So I'm super excited to see how this pans out from a user experience standpoint, with them maybe getting that degree of trust that they haven't had before in these industries. So that's a biggie for me.
Absolutely.
I have a question. As this is new, and obviously it will always continue, the education will always continue. If I call one of these LSA ads and then I call it back, say 20 minutes later, is it just one charge?
Yeah, it is. It is usually one charge. So the key here is, did you call back on the same number, right? If you call back on the same number, that system is going to be intelligent enough to group it under one lead. Now,
Gotcha.
you do have cases where your phone dies, you use another number. That's when things get a little bit tricky, but it's obviously a 1% edge case, right?
Sure.
And then you can still dispute, leave some notes for Google and say, hey, my phone died, I called on this. And as long as you document it, you've got a shot. But typically speaking, and I believe that's multiple leads are going to be grouped under the same lead, and you're going to be able to see multiple lines of recordings there, but you're only going to be charged once. And that's the simplicity of local services ads.
It's really good to know.
100%.
It's really good to
Good
know.
stuff. Yeah.
So I think if Jared or Jay, you don't have anything more to ask or contribute, I think we've come to an end of another Google Business Buzz. Jared, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks,
Your
Jared.
presence is very much appreciated. You're definitely the guy to speak with when we talk tow marketing. And Jay, as always, it's a great pleasure to do this with you. Your knowledge is profound, and we're gonna keep it going.
Appreciate the opportunity. Remember to move over, slow down. Oh, it's not coming up. Sorry.
Slow down, move over. Absolutely.
Yeah. Anyway,
you,
it's great
gentlemen.
talking to you guys. Look forward to more education and be able to present our tow automotive clients with more, opportunities for more business.
To our lovely viewers and listeners, we'll see you next time. Thanks for tuning in for another exciting episode of the Google Business Buzz. Take care.